Oh yeah, no worries.
So
Sometimes
how?
if I stay still, it's gonna go dark in here because I'm in like a little conference room in the apartment. So I'll
Mhm.
just like wave. So I'll maybe that'll be something for people to laugh at as we're going through the through this.
Yeah,
So,
we should be live now.
okay,
So
cool.
let me turn off the audio on my other stuff. All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm here with Gabe. Hey, Gabe, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? Happy to be here, man.
Awesome. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. Sorry about that, guys. We're a little late over here trying to fix our audio and mic. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me, which was weird. So, but we're all good. We're here. We're here, and that's the important part, right? So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Happy to be here. Like I said, very happy, and I'm
um,
checking the chat too. So I got a couple of things going on. So
awesome, awesome. All right. So, Gabe, the way this works is, it's not a job interview, but the way
yeah,
it works is I like to do like tell me about yourself, because I like to know what a little bit about you. Tell me about you. Like, where you come from. Like,
yeah.
did you have a tech experience before or not? So tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, okay. So you say it's not a job interview. Okay, all right,
No,
cool.
it's
Okay, so born and raised and grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and again, my full name is Gabriel Agbarucci. Gabriel Agbarucci, and my last name might sound a little funny, but it's Nigerian. So my dad
mm,
is from Nigeria, and my mom is from America, and they both met while they were in college, and as a result, that turned into me. Right, so very much so purely an African American because my mom is from America, dad is from Africa. Combined, it became me. But at the same time, I don't have a whole lot of Nigerian exposure from my background. My parents separated early when I was a kid, so I mainly grew up with my mom here in Detroit, Michigan, and yeah, so that's a little bit about kind of how I grew up, some of my family stuff. But even as a young buck here in Detroit, I kind of aligned to very like a lot of math, sciences, and engineering as I was growing up. While I was in high school, I was a part of like an internship program with Ford Motor Company. They had collaboration with my high school, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. But then I just always had a huge love for math. So you know how people will go on like during the summer with kids, they'll have like basketball camp, they'll have like band camp, they'll have all types of camp, soccer camp and whatever, right? Or football camp. But I used to go to a math camp all throughout middle school and even throughout high school. So that kind of formed a lot of that logical thinking. And eventually I went into electrical engineering as my undergrad. And that was a lot of fun also. That was a lot of fun also. So kind of a couple of things, right? Like African American kind of upbringing and background, a lot of math involved in the math camps and everything throughout middle school and high school. Majored in electrical engineering, but even while this whole process was going on of me growing up, becoming who I am today, I am a musician, right? So I play low brass instruments. So I play the sousaphone, right? And in the city of Detroit, I'm a part of a brass band, and we played kind of like New Orleans style music, New Orleans style. So kind of like the traditional, like I'll fly away when the Saints go marching in, if you know some of those tunes. But pretty much like you are involved in parades, you're involved in at funerals because that's also a part of the New Orleans style brass band history is that you celebrate or you mourn the death of people during funerals, but you also celebrate the life. So the brass band thing has been a big part of me. So I think I gave you a lot there. So I want to pause and see what maybe you want me to elaborate on, or if you want me to keep going.
No, no, no. It's a good introduction. I like to pick the brains of other people. That's usually what I do as an IT person. I pick the brains of other people. Because every person that I invite to my YouTube channel, whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn, when I talk to someone, I like to pick their brains. I learn from each individual person that I bring into my YouTube channel to chat, which is
Yeah.
greatly appreciate you that you being here. And I actually wanted to ask you a question, like what got you into tech? Like why did you pick IT over other things? Because I know that IT is like so vast and big, but why did you pick IT?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, right? My undergrad was in electrical engineering, And when I graduated, I started working in the engineering fields, right? So I first started off in automotive, but I quickly, after probably a year and a half or so, I transitioned into like the nuclear field. So I was literally working as like a nuclear engineer or nuclear instrumentation and control engineer at a local nuclear plant here in Detroit called the Fermi 2 nuclear plant. And what was happening is that not only was the world going through some changes, but also my plant environment was going through changes. So not too early, not too much before I had got into nuclear, there was a big kind of like a malware campaign called Stuxnet, where it infiltrated a nuclear facility in the Middle East. And as a result, that kind of trickled all the way down to my little nuclear plant, commercial nuclear plant in Detroit. So they started implementing a lot of cybersecurity and tech type of guidance so that we would be protected from those type of attacks coming up, right? Because we saw in the Middle East a nuclear facility, and nuclear industry is a government regulated industry. So the US government saw that. They said, you all have to implement all this cybersecurity stuff at your plant. So that was kind of my introduction into tech, is really going from that strictly nuclear INC engineering, taking care of different devices and systems and plants and all types of equipment, to looking at protecting those systems from cybersecurity attacks that they had seen within the industry. So that was my big introduction, right? And I was pretty much thrown into the deep end. Yeah. So, yep, that's how I got into it.
Got it. And then tell me about that. I know we just spoke about this. So tell me about that exam you took. The exam you took today, actually.
So this exam I took today. So it's with the SANS organization. And for those who have taken these SANS certifications, you had the ability to kind of push it out like 1 month or 2 months. So I kept on pushing this certification exam sitting. And the certification exam is called the GRID cert, right? So this is focusing on incident response and threat intelligence for industrial environments, very similar to like that nuclear generation plant I used to work at. So this certification I literally just took right before I got on this live, and I passed it, which I was very happy about, but I never know if I pass it until the end, because they don't give you any indication on how you're doing throughout the exam. So that one is on incident response and threat intelligence for industrial environment cybersecurity. So yeah, I just took that one and I passed it. So
I guess for congratulations.
Yeah, man, thanks.
I guess for anyone that's new to IT, what is SANS anyway? What is that?
SANS is a training organization, and I don't know all of the official structure, but it's like SANS and GIAC and SANS Institute. They all come together and they put out a lot of different certifications that focus on a lot of different areas in cybersecurity. So they have things where you can study for the CISSP. That is a cybersecurity certification for professionals, a well-known one. But they also have stuff that focuses in on red teaming or penetration testing. They have stuff that focuses on incident response. And the one I just took focused on industrial cybersecurity. So they're training organizations, very similar to like a CompTIA or a, what is this other one? There's many other ones out there, but yeah, similar to a CompTIA.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this controversial question in security. And this is because I get 100 answers from 100 different people, and they all give me a different answer. So, what are your thoughts in security when it comes to networking? I'm not talking about TCP/IP, not networking with people. Okay. What's your thoughts on? Do you need to know networking if you're going to work security? Should you read Network Plus? Should you read CCNA? Like, what's your advice on this? Because I get 100 answers from 100 different people.
I would say that networking is a prerequisite to cybersecurity, right? Mm-hmm. So that was actually something that I did, and I'll give you just a little story about kind of my learning journey. And that's something I really focused on, is because going from strictly engineering, right, where electrical engineering focuses a lot on math, science, and all types of, hey, that's my wife and her sister. I'm doing an interview. Thumbs up. Actually, if I passed or not. All right. So as I was going from strictly engineering, where I'm doing Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, I'm doing physics and electromagnetism and all this type of stuff, power systems analysis. I'm going through those type of classes and I'm applying that to my field. I didn't have any networking experience. I didn't know anything about, like you said, TCP, IP, or communication protocols or switches or routers. So like I said, I got thrown into the deep end and I had to learn. And I think that from that experience, I recognized that networking was a weak point of mine. So I had self-studied for my CCNA. And back then they had the ICND1 and ICND2, where you can do the the CCNT cert, and then you would go for the full CCNA with the second certification, the ICND2. So and I found that once I got my CCNA, and not only just got the CCNA, but as I was studying the material for CCNA, I gained a greater understanding of how bad guys can do bad things within networks. So I would say yes, some type of certification. Networking is a prerequisite to cybersecurity in the form of a network plus, a security plus. I think those would be, or a network plus or a CCNA. Those would be great networking certifications that I know the CCNA helped me out a lot. So that's how I would answer it. And it might be like everybody else too. How they
got it. No, it's I like your answer. It's a good answer because a lot of people like they try to skip networking, and I'm like, it's kind of like yes and no. It depends, you know. The other question for you is, how important, I guess, is networking with LinkedIn, in your opinion?
Listen, I think LinkedIn is literally made for networking. And I'm sure that you fully taken advantage of it, right? I follow your posts. I follow things. I think that networking on social media platforms like LinkedIn, it allows serious professionals and inquirers to be able to come together, right, on ideas and really understanding what people have done, so that you can really understand, just like I was mentioning, like my path into cybersecurity and into tech. So I think that it's extremely important. Like I'm always in people's DMs. I think I reached out to you, right, via LinkedIn, and that's how this came into fruition. So I think that LinkedIn is extremely important to networking with other tech professionals or just professionals as a whole. So extremely important.
Yeah, and I was and I know you done stuff in SANS themselves, right? Have you done like classes and stuff like that? Or am I losing my mind?
So they have conferences. They have the summit. Yeah. So I've done a lot of these SANS summits. So I've done the ICS SANS Summit, and that's the one that stands for ICS, or Industrial Control System Cybersecurity Summit. So they focus on, just like I was mentioning, industrial cybersecurity, whether it's at nuclear plants, oil and gas environments, building management systems. It kind of encompasses all of those type of environments. So I've done those SANS summits. I've done the oil and gas summit for SANS. I've even done like the new to cyber. So for people who are extremely interested in getting into cybersecurity, it's a conference designed to help people with that transition into the field. So it's a lot of us professionals giving kind of like the OG game and really giving people information on how to get into the field. So I've done a lot of these SANS conferences, and they're on YouTube. So hit me up and I'll provide links.
Awesome, man, awesome.
For sure.
I'll ask you another question. This is a controversial question because I get asked this question. So why, in your opinion, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Why are there not a lot of Hispanics and African Americans in IT? I want to ask your opinion.
So I don't think I can speak for why there aren't a lot of Hispanics, because I haven't, traditionally grown up in that community. But I can speak for African Americans, right? Growing up here in Detroit, it's one of the blackest places that you can see in the United States, right? It has a heavy African American composition, right? So this is my own personal opinion, right? Because as I was growing up and coming up into, like I said, I used to go to math camp, right? I used to go to all these different, I used to be a part of something called academic games, where it's a math type of competition for kids. And I think one of the things that I found is that it's just not something that's very popular in the African American community, right? Tech and math and science, STEM as a whole, right? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's not something that's popular. It's not something that's highly promoted, but rather it's almost niche, right? So when there isn't a lot of interest, when there isn't a lot of advertisement, when there isn't a lot of information about the tech field to a lot of these type of communities, specifically the type of community I grew up in, I don't think that lends well to younger people jumping into that field as they grow up, or just people in general being informed about that field. So now I do think that that's not an excuse, because I think that right now, just as we're having these conversations and we're on YouTube and LinkedIn and all these different social media platforms, I think that the dissemination of information is there, right? It's literally everywhere. I mean, Elon Musk is on the front pages, like a tech person is on the front pages of some of the most popular news articles today. So I think that it's advertised more, but I think that as I was growing up, there really wasn't a whole lot of exposure to it. I almost had to find it. So I think that that's probably one of the reasons, the lack of advertisement. But there's more advertisement on like basketball and being a rapper or those type of career fields in comparison to tech for the African-American community. So
do you think like as a whole, like I'm talking about you, me, and other people that do YouTube videos, you think as a whole, should we be going into schools and educating students and making some changes in colleges and being public speakers and just talking about IT and making it like self-aware to people that want to get into tech, that are Hispanic or African American? Should we be doing that more, or what's your thought on that? I'm just asking you a question.
I think so, right? I think everybody has to decide that for themselves. I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think it should be an obligation for everybody in the field to say, hey, because you're in the field, you have to do this, right? But I do think that for us who are putting out content like this, I think everybody's doing their part. So I do think it is a very good thing, and it's something that's very helpful. I mean, even some of my own experiences, the reason why I chose to go into electrical engineering in undergrad is because I met an electrical engineer, a Black electrical engineer, as I was growing up. My mom had put me in a ACT prep class, and it was literally funded and ran by a Black engineer that worked for Ford Motor Company during that time. And I didn't even know that was something possible. I saw the way he carried himself, right? I'm watching and I'm understanding what that really means. And it kind of sparked my interest to go into that particular field. So I think that representation, the fact that we're out here speaking about these fields and that you can do it, I think that definitely helps, and everybody can contribute their part. So yeah, I think I've been the result of having that representation that looked like me. I saw somebody like me, or it looked like me, and that kind of motivated me to be a little bit more curious about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about it because I always, me and Professor Black Ops, man, it cracks me up. He's like, make cybersecurity sexy again, right? Or IT sexy again. So I laugh about it because it's because a lot of things is that when you, and I don't like talking about this. I don't like talking about this because it gets a little controversial. But the thing is like I think people want to succeed and be happy when they see someone that is Hispanic or African American. Like, man, if he could do it, I could do it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I like having these conversations, because I'm a firm believer of diversity in IT. Yeah. So that's why I'm asking these random questions, if that makes sense. So
no, it makes a lot of sense, because I was even part of organizations called like NSBE during my undergrad. It's called the National Society of Black Engineers. Right. And that was a big helper for me, too. I saw a community of Black engineers, like we were all literally grad school, moving towards a very similar goal, and having very similar backgrounds and experiences. Right. People having your similar experiences helps you in order to get into the field or be able to transition you into the next level or to your goal. And we see this in a lot of other communities, too. Right. Mm-hmm. With a lot of like Indian communities or East Asian communities, they're dominating tech at a high level. It's because a lot of times their cultures are kind of surrounded with tech and engineering and science, right? So I think that community that they have that focuses on this particular industry, that has helped a lot of individuals from those backgrounds get into the field. They help each other a lot of times. So yeah, I think that we can create something similar.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to change the topic a little bit. What is your, I guess, and I'd like to ask this question because what for someone brand new, like, how do you think they should get started if someone's brand new to IT? Like, do you believe fundamentals? Like, what is your thought process on this?
Brand new to IT. Sometimes, it's so funny. I'm gonna bring up something that might be relatable to some people. So all right, listen, don't judge me for my music choice. But I listen to Drake, right? I listen to Drake, okay? Because my wife teases me about it. She's like, oh, you listen to Drake, because it's like this cliche, because he's like this mainstream person. Anyway, one thing that he said, I think one lyric that he put in one of his songs, he says that it's something along the lines. I'm a paraphrase. I'm not gonna try to rap it, right? Because I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. But he said something along the lines is that I've been so accomplished and I've made so much money to the point where my lyrics are not even relatable, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So at times I can be talking about some tech subjects where it makes it very difficult for me to relate to a lot of people about like that entry level stuff because I've come very far, but let me try, right? So I'm just gonna say that if it comes out wrong, let me try. I think understanding a lot of those initial concepts like system administration, right? Operating systems, like what computers do to talk to one another. That's very important. I think one thing that we talked about was that of networking, right? I think that networking is a very good starter, but even just understanding how computers work, I think that that's a very important starter. I haven't taken this cert, and I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I hear a lot of good things about the A+ certification for somebody who is brand new. So even though I didn't go that particular route, I would say that's probably, or even just watching videos of people, like just Googling, right? I think for somebody who's brand new, start off like just like people Google song lyrics or Google what their favorite, or how to buy this, or I don't know, house flipping or whatever. Whatever is the most popular Googles these days, I would say that people should start off Googling and then watching content and understanding the pathways of people who have previously done it. Hopefully that
No, that makes sense. That makes sense because I always talk about fundamentals because
yeah.
I know cybersecurity is big, and also the other thing is that you need to know foundational knowledge before you could jump into crazy advanced stuff when you go into security and stuff like that. So, but A+ is really good. I took A+, and I haven't had issues with it, and it helped me when I was brand new to IT. I don't know any. I came from a restaurant background, so a little different for me. I was gonna ask you another question actually, and people are actually like, someone said Drake's the man.
Let's go, Driz, let's go.
I was gonna ask you what was I gonna ask you? Damn, forgot my question. But let's go and answer this question real quick actually. Sure. Security Plus, because I get bad things with Security Plus and good things with Security Plus. What's your thought process in Security Plus? I know governments ask for it, so what's your thought process?
So I do think one thing that I do see, because I do interviews at my organization, right? So I do see that individuals with Security Plus, they tend to have, like you were mentioning, some of those security fundamentals. And without even, I haven't taken the certification, but I've looked at the syllabus, right? The subject matter. It focuses on very foundational cybersecurity concepts, things like defense in depth, things like the CIA triad, things like what a firewall is and how it's useful to an organization, right? Things like that I think are very important. And I do think that it can help you with a lot of those foundations. Now, and just like you mentioned, with government organizations, that's a requirement for a lot of government jobs. So I do think that it does give you ability to bypass some of those government job HR filters. And it also equips you with some cybersecurity foundational concepts. Now, I would say also, it does not guarantee you a job, right? It does not guarantee you a job, and it doesn't mean you're some type of cybersecurity expert. I do think that it looks very good for HR, and it does instill some good security foundations. So that's my primary thoughts about Security Plus.
And someone was asking, good afternoon from the DC area, what is the most important skill in cybersecurity?
I'm gonna have to do a video on this one. I would say the most important skill is resourcefulness, right? So you don't always know what to do, but it's important for you to know where to go in order to find out what to do or how to do that, whether you are resourceful with your network of people that you reach out to, right? Because I can reach out to Professor Black Ops and understand things about the government entities or what he's doing, or Stiggs, what he's doing in that particular area. Or I could reach out to my buddy Josh, right? Josh is in database administration, and he does all types of things with Linux. Reaching out to him if I have a question about, hey, I know about this Linux kernel, but I'm trying to understand some of the cybersecurity implications of it. Help me to understand more about these directories and what that holds. I need to be able, so that's one thing, reaching out to people, being resourceful in your network, but also having a repository of different resources like going to like Sans has like a blog site, right, where they have blogs on all different types of cybersecurity concepts, from beginner to very advanced concepts, or even understanding different YouTube channels, or even understanding just being resourceful in knowing what you don't know, but knowing where to get that information from. So I would say resourcefulness is the number one.
Yeah, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. A lot of times, and that's something that I tell people to do, because sometimes you could bypass the ATS system if you just send an email or your resume to the hiring manager. There's like so many ways to bypass the ATS system. So
absolutely,
and,
or even just like doing stuff like, man, I think we need to get out of this, right? The memorizing stuff in tech, right? Always memorize. Like, I don't think we need to memorize easily Googleable stuff, if that makes sense. Because so I think it's important to have understandings of tech concepts, but remembering all the TCP ports or the UDP ports for all these protocols, or memorizing the exact steps in order to configure an Active Directory environment. Like, you can make guides and you could be able to Google that information where your stores of mental capacity are not, filled up with just random tech facts. Like, that does not make you an OG because you can remember everything, if that makes sense. But I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I'll let you get to the next question.
No, that's that. No, I agree with that, because a lot of people want to memorize port numbers, protocols. I'm like, man, and like it's good to know when you're taking an exam, it's okay, but then you'll need to know it when you go for an actual job, because Google's always going to be there. Always. And then that's the other issue is the other issue is that people do not know how to use Google, or don't know how to Google an answer. So that's the other issue as well. So
some pluses and minuses there. Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I think like understanding the concepts, right? Like Windows Active Directory is there to help manage all types of things with my Windows hosts and my Windows systems and my networks, right? Understanding that at the top, but learning how to do specific things, right? Like changing passwords or setting different privileges. That's something that you can maybe have a little guide on, rather than saying, okay, I need to memorize all of these particular steps, or I need to memorize how to do every single one of these things. Where, I don't know, that's just my thought. So
someone was asking a question about the CISSP Plus. Is that any good? Do you know anything about that?
That's one that I understand. Is something about security monitoring and security. It's kind of like more of the blue team side. I have not taken that cert, and I don't know too much about it. So I do not want to give you any false information, but Google is very much so there. Professor Black Ops might know something about that certification, because that's one that's a requirement for some government roles. So, but I don't know too much about that one. Oh, yeah, textual chair. Look at him, right?
I just saw him pop in.
Definitely knows for sure.
Yeah, he should know. And I see, before I even go into more questions, I see the big bald azure guy is here.
Good.
I see Professor Black Ops is here as well. So I'm gonna salute to you guys.
Absolutely. And in textual chat, it says that he has that certification. So I say, reach out to him in the chat, ask him more about it if you want to give you more information. And he also has a channel. But
he has a YouTube channel, and I interviewed him a few weeks ago. Absolutely. And I had to interview a few other people. Like, you could reach out to Master IT as well. I forgot about Master IT. Absolutely. Reach out to Master IT; he'll help you. Forgot about that. So that's the other thing. So can you before I do the YouTube thing, but can you tell me, why did you make a YouTube channel? I like to know. I'm curious.
Let me tell you. I made this YouTube channel because I was forced to. I feel like I was forced to make it by so many different people whose YouTube channels I've been on. So the first time I was on a YouTube channel was Dewan Lightfoot, Mr. Lab Every Day. I'm saying
Mr. Lab Every Day. Love him.
Lab Every Day. I'm messing his name up. Forgive me, Dewan. But I was on his channel years ago, and he's like, man, you should make a YouTube channel. I also have other friends like O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's a good friend of mine. He encouraged me to make a YouTube channel. He has a pretty big following. Individuals like Keep It Techie, individuals like Professor Black Ops, another individual, Citizen Lou. He has a YouTube channel where he covers some tech stuff, but also sports and world and everything else. So this group of individuals on YouTube, they pretty much have pushed me and forced me into making content, because I've contributed to their content over the years. So, but also, so not only them, right, having that encouragement, having that push, but also I wanted to do something a little bit different, right, as it concerns um, kind of breaking down cybersecurity concepts and making them more easy and digestible for individuals, because I would see a lot of information that's very advanced, right? You look at some YouTube channels which are not bad, right? Like IPSEC, right? He goes through capture the flags and hacking boxes and everything, where it's not something that's very easy for people who are very new to the field, right? To digest and understand. So I wanted to make very simple, very simple concepts, bite-sized type of information for people who are newer and transitioning into the field to be able to understand. So those are the two reasons: people pushing me and wanting to present information that's very easy to digest for people that's not in the industry.
Got it. And what is that? What is hack the box and try hack me? What is that for someone that's new?
Box, right. So to say this, hacking real live organizations and people is something that's illegal in the United States. You cannot do that legally, right? You can't like log into somebody's organizational website, like brute force their passwords and do all that stuff. So there are systems and platforms that are like training for hacking, right? So Hack the Box, try Hack Me. Those are two very popular ones where they'll give you a simulated type of lab environment where you're able to practice your hacking techniques. So that's what those are. And yeah.
Yeah, I was just, and for someone like, and I get asked this question: which one do you recommend for someone brand new? Because I know, like one's easier than the other one, but
yeah. So I like Try Hack Me. Hack the Box is cool, but I like Try Hack Me because it really breaks things down step by step. It will take you step by step through the process of compromising the system. It'll give you descriptions of what the steps you're performing, and it'll give you all types of information as you're going through. Is more aligned with my style of bite-sized, step-by-step for you to learn concepts. Try Hack Me is a little bit more like I think you have to hack into the website before you can even gain access to the training platform. So I would say Try Hack Me is very good for people who are brand new to cybersecurity and want to do offensive cybersecurity.
Got it. And what's I guess for you, because I like to pick people's brains. What are some free resources you recommend for someone brand new for cybersecurity stuff, like besides Try Hack Me and Hack the Box? Do you have anything in mind?
It depends, because it depends on what they want to do, right? Because I would say I break up cybersecurity into two major roles. One is offensive or red teaming type of cybersecurity, where you are looking to attack, right? And then you look at another way is like blue teaming or defensive cybersecurity, where you're looking to defend. And now both of those branch off into a whole bunch of different things. But I think that once people decide which way they want to go, that then opens up resources. So I think for offensive, I would say that Try Hack Me or Hack the Box would be very good starters. Or even things like Capture the Flags, like the Pico Capture the Flag is great for beginners, because it goes through step by step of being able to compromise systems and being able to find what you call like flags during the Capture the Flag thing. Now for defensive, that's a whole different route, right? You're looking at utilizing different operating systems and devices in order to be able to detect, be able to respond to when bad things happen. So you're looking at things like, say, for instance, a good blue team exercise is something like packet capture analysis. So on a network, you have devices, right, talking. Everybody's talking to one another. And a packet capture is something that collects that information and it allows you to be able to go through what type of conversations are happening through digital devices step by step. So a good resource to be able to learn that skill going down the blue team road is it's called malicious. Let me see, malicious PCAPs or something. If somebody knows it, malwaretrafficanalysis.net. And here, I'm going to throw it in the chat for you. Let me jump over here. Let me throw it in the back chat, in the private chat.
Yeah, I have I did one on, was it malwareunicorn.org or something like that?
Okay.
One that I had.
That might be one too. Yeah.
Reverse engineering 101.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's another one, like towards the blue teaming piece, because that reverse engineering is taking malicious software and reversing it and understanding what the bad guy was after and what the bad guy was trying to do. And that's very time intensive, very skilled. You have to know operating system, you have to learn programming languages and everything, but that's on the blue team side. So the one that I'm talking about is the packet capture analysis and the website of the malwaretrafficanalysis.net. And that one will help you. That's a free resource. And that's the one where they'll give you the packet captures of what the bad things are happening. And then you'll be able to open up a free tool called Wireshark and be able to go step by step and understand, hey, what did the bad guy do here? And they actually have you put out like a little report to answer questions about what you saw and what you observed through the packet capture. So that's a very good resource going down that blue team road.
Yeah, I just posted 2 links in chat, so if anyone's interested, you can go ahead and grab that. I was going to ask you a question about, because you say you do job interviews, right? So I know this is going to be an annoying question for some people, but I would like to ask this question. So, what do you when you go for a job interview, when you interview people, right? Do you interview them on tech skills or do you interview them on soft skills or both? How do you interview? Just curious.
I interview both. Yeah, I think it kind of both. You want me to go into what some of that looks like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like how do you what do you like? Yeah. I guess for soft, like do you look at someone as a team player that wants to work well with other people and stuff like that, or how do you measure that with interviews? Just curious.
I think so. So one of the major things that I do when I first start off in an interview, especially if I'm evaluating tech and soft skills, I'm looking at projects and for an individual to explain what they did and what they understand. So I'll leave it very much so wide open. I'll say, hey, introduce like similar to how we started this interview. Tell me something about yourself, right? Tell me something about yourself, something that makes you unique, really quickly, right? But then I'll ask them about projects and things that they've done, and I'll give them a chance. Like I'll ask questions about what they present to me. So say, for instance, as an example, they're on that blue team side. I'm interviewing them for some type of blue team consultant role, like an analyst. So I'm asking them, hey, what projects have you done? Say, for instance, they said that they did like a Security Onion. They have a home lab with Security Onion, which is a blue team operating system, right? A defensive operating system with all types of cool little tools to help you defend and detect when bad things happen and be able to analyze when bad things happen. I'll ask them to tell me about what they installed, what they did, what was the purpose. So I'll very much so make it wide open to be able to understand if they're able to explain what they've done rather than just having a resume of certifications and things. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it's a good answer. Yeah. I like to ask that question because a lot of hiring managers, some of them are gatekeeping, and I get really annoyed by that. So I like to ask that question. If you're brand new to IT and I'm doing an interview, I try to give you as many chances as I possibly can. I'm not gonna say no to you. Like it's just if you're willing to learn and you have the passion to learn and you work well with a team, then I'm definitely gonna give you a chance. But not unfortunately, not every manager thinks like that.
No, they don't. And that's another thing I never do in interviews. I don't ask people to recall information that's easily Googleable, like I mentioned before. Like I'm not gonna try to test you on your ability to memorize a tech fact because I don't think that serves anybody well. Because why? Why am I doing that? Is it to test you or make you sweat? Like I'm not trying to make you sweat. I'm trying to understand what you know how to do and how you can contribute to the organization. Just like you said, give them as many chances as possible during the interview, right? We're talking, we're gonna have a conversation. I want to understand what excites you about this field and how you can contribute to the team. I'm not trying to make you sweat. I'm not trying to make you fumble and stumble and have PTSD from this interview experience. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to understand what you're good at and how you can contribute to our organization. That's really it.
Someone said we need more hiring managers like him. He's open-minded and he sees the big picture. So not everyone's like that.
Oh, I'm flattered.
But I agree with that, and just like I could make a whole video on that on gatekeeping and stuff. Like I get really annoyed by hiring managers and job requirements, especially when you're brand new to IT. Like you should be giving people chances. Like why do you do that for people that are brand new? It drives me nuts.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing that I appreciate with what you're doing, everyone else is doing. They're making YouTube videos, helping people break into cybersecurity or IT support or anything IT related, and that's the other thing. And we need to break that ATS system, man. It drives me nuts.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
the other thing. I was gonna ask you another question, and it's for Sands, right? And
Yep.
I know you do those courses and
Yeah.
classes and stuff like that. How do you teach? Like, what's your way of teaching for someone brand new? Because I know that I'm a trainer myself and I teach people.
Mhm.
Like, how did you learn, or how do you break it down in a non-tech way for someone that's brand new? What's your thought process on that?
How do you break down tech concepts and you said in a non-tech way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I try to make it relatable. On my channel, I have a lot of very specific topics that I cover. But if I'm doing like one-on-one, if I'm talking to somebody, they need to understand it. They need to be able to relate to the content in order for them to understand the concepts, if that makes sense. So I try to do something. So say for instance, I'm explaining a type of attack, right? Like a denial of service type of attack or distributed denial of service attack,
Hmm.
which is typically like when a bad guy is trying to overload a computer system with information so that it stops functioning. All right. So I'm thinking, so I might explain it in a way to say, hey, just think about Thanksgiving dinner, right? In the Black community, Thanksgiving is a time when we gorge, right?
Hmm.
I don't do it anymore because I gotta take care of my health, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying so times when people just eat and eat and eat and eat, right? So that food can be thought of as network traffic going to a web application or a website. And then the more and more of that information or that food that we eat, we become immobile, right? We become to the point where we cannot function anymore, right? Slurred speech, we're sitting on the couch, we go to sleep, all those type of things. So we become immobile, just like that web application or that website becomes immobile because of the large amount of flow of traffic or foods into the system, right? So you got to kind of make it relatable, and it's something that probably even kids can understand, right? So that's something like a denial of service attack, where you are no longer able to provide any service to the world because you've eaten so much, the same as a web application that's been overloaded with so much information where it can no longer function. So
Man, that was good. That was very good. I like how you broke it down in a non-tech way. Someone was
yeah,
asking for your YouTube URL, which I shared
okay,
it on LinkedIn.
awesome.
Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to share chat on LinkedIn, and I complained about it, so I'm waiting for them to fix that.
Okay.
I'm only able to open the chat for YouTube for some reason.
Okay.
So,
No worries.
and then someone said, "Thank you. It's reassuring hearing these words. By the way, it's difficult for a 41-year-old to get an entry level job in IT.
Mm.
It's been my dream forever."
I wouldn't say it would be difficult for you to get an entry level job in IT. I think that when you have the correct skills that's aligned with the organization, I think that you can do it, right? At 40, like I think that a gentleman, another guy, he's on YouTube. His name is Before the Billions. He works in data
Mm.
engineering or data science. He said that his dad just got, I think he said his dad just got a Network Plus and a Security Plus certification, and his dad is probably like well within his 50s. So and now he's looking for work, right? And I think that getting those certifications, getting those skills that align with certain work that you're looking to do, I don't think it'll be impossible for you to get these roles. Especially now, looking at the remote job thing, right? Like, not only can you apply to jobs that are there locally to your state or your city or your county or wherever you are, but you can apply to jobs all across the United States and even at times all across the world. So your ability to apply to roles other places, and it just increases your ability to be able to get into the fit. They're doing that's my wife and her sister. They're trying
It's
to
all good.
distract me, but no worries. But yeah, I think that the fact that there's so many jobs in tech, and the fact that you can apply to so many different places in the world, it increases your chance to get into the field. So I would say to do not be discouraged, but rather be focused and apply, apply, apply. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and with me is I trained a 54-year-old. He got a job in IT.
Wow.
So I
Nice.
mean, it's possible. It's gonna be really hard. I'm not gonna say it's
Mhm.
easy. It's gonna be hard. Like
Right.
getting your first job, breaking into tech, it's extremely hard. You're gonna find it
Mhm.
really difficult. But you got to have the right mindset in IT. You gotta have the right mindset, because if you don't, you're gonna give up and then you don't want to do it anymore. It's all about mindset.
For stuff like that, or people in those type of situations, do you suggest that people do voluntary work in tech, like doing like tech work for their church to get some experience, or tech work for their community center? Is that something that you would give somebody?
Yeah. So there are like I would always tell someone to go volunteer for church or do something for church. You could also volunteer in like for schools as well. If some schools have that, you could volunteer for your local police force or fire department. I didn't know about that because I got invited to do like field like PC work for the NYPD, and I had to say no because I was busy. But I'm still gonna do volunteer work for them. That's and awesome. I also there's also like social platforms like I told you about. Remember we spoke about the military veterans. I spoke with vets to industry yesterday, and that's you don't have to be a military veteran. You could go there and connect and socialize with 500 people. And I met people from Meta, Facebook, Amazon, AWS that they're hiring right now. And that's absolutely free. You could just go in there and talk to people and break the ice, similar to Toastmasters. I don't know if you know what Toastmasters is.
I know what Toastmasters is, yeah.
But that's what I've been doing. I've been just going out there, networking with a bunch of different people. I don't care who you are. I just want to know who you are.
Yeah, so absolutely. Or even this, I would say this: start doing content creation on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Right, people who understand more about what you do or what you're learning will be more apt to hiring you. And I think that even like I've done several interviews with my YouTube channel. Interviewers knew that I had a YouTube channel. They knew that I had a LinkedIn presence. They knew that I had spoken at several conferences. So you can almost introduce yourself to the hiring managers via sharing things with content creation, even before you jump into the interview. So I would highly encourage that also.
There's like a lot of different things you could do, and this would be a good video for you, actually, Gabe.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Giving you ideas. Take notes.
Okay.
But before we talk about that, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I want you to tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel and what do we have cooking in there, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So let me see if I can share my screen. And I am going to separate the tab over here. Give me a second, guys. And I should be able to share the screen. There we go.
Nice.
And I'm gonna do. All right. Tell me a little bit about your channel. I know I invited you because I love what you do, and I know you've been like sneaky or been behind the scenes on different other YouTube channels, and now you finally have your own channel, which is kind of cool. So tell me about your channel a little bit.
Okay, so my channel is called Struggle Security. Funny name, weird name, right? But Struggle Security, and my tagline is normalizing struggling in cybersecurity, right? Because I don't think that struggling should be something that should be discouraged, but rather it should be something embraced. But also, moving up the struggle ladder, right? You don't have to stay at the lowest level of struggling. You can struggle differently, because I struggle with different things now that I didn't struggle with at the beginning of my career. So normalizing struggling in cybersecurity. And I cover a lot of different subjects. And again, it's new, right? So I started in February of this year. So then I started in February. So I don't have a whole lot of content, but what is it? 13, 14 videos? Yeah. And it covers various topics in cybersecurity. Like it can be technical things or things about jobs or things about tech in general. I did one video on cybersecurity salaries, which is there at the bottom left, which I thought was pretty cool because a lot of times you want to get into the field, but not only get into the field, but also understand what will be on the back end, like what compensation will be for certain types of roles. So I did that one. I also did a technical one on the right of it about FTP vulnerabilities, file transfer protocol. So that's when we get into some of those IT network administration type of fundamentals. So I kind of went over what that protocol was and then understanding what are some of the security implications of it. But then even some of my more recent ones was talking about remote jobs in cybersecurity and the business of cybersecurity. I'm just kind of hitting on a lot of different subjects, but I think that this really helps to get your cybersecurity palette kind of more wet, right? So it's like, before your food comes, one thing about like us in biology, like we
You're
are
not talking a lot about food, man.
salivate, huh? I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry. I did that certification exam was 2 hours long. I'm a little hungry. So we're gonna talk about food. Listen, we're gonna talk about tech and food today, right? So before the good food comes, one thing that your body does is that it prepares your glands and you start to salivate a little bit, right? So that's what my channel is for, is to get your cybersecurity palate ready to digest more and more information. And these videos aren't too long, right? It's something that you can be sitting down with your family or sitting down with your friend or doing some work and just listen to stuff on the back end and stuff that you can kind of digest to get acclimated with cybersecurity. So
this video is really good, by the way. I like this Linux video. I saw it. It's a
Oh.
very good video. And I know why it has a lot of views because it's a good video. I like this video.
Yeah,
The Linux one is really good.
absolutely.
I really enjoy that video, just letting you know. And
I saw your comment too, man. Listen, I look at all my comments. So if you guys make comments and say you want certain types of content, listen, it will go on the dais or I'll put it on my list of videos to make for sure.
Got it. Yeah, man. I like that Linux video, and was salute to Kevtech because he has a course on Linux and it's free. Yes. So I definitely recommend that as well if anyone is trying to trying to get into tech. So
yeah, Kevtech has that on his channel, but it's also on Free Code Camp, and I think it has like over it's like 80, 90,000, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's up there, and it's a very good course. Yep, on Linux.
Definitely recommend it. And I was gonna ask you another question. So people can find you on YouTube. You're on LinkedIn as well, right? So I guess I'll put that below in the description for everyone. So the YouTube channel, LinkedIn. You're also in SANS.
Yeah.
all over SANS.
Yep.
What's your next certification you're aiming for since you took one today? Like what are your goals now? For this year.
So as a manager, right? So I still do a lot of technical type. So kind of a little background about myself. I work as a cybersecurity consulting manager. So that means that like I lead engagements. I have the potential to lead a team, but I'm very much so customer facing, right? So I deal with like the business of cybersecurity so often. And when you talk about consulting in cybersecurity, many large organizations, like I was mentioning before, like with Ford Motor Company or with Google or with Meta or somebody, they bring in consulting firms like the one I work for in order to do specialized cybersecurity services. You might be coming in to do something like a penetration test or some type of red teaming type of engagement, or we have what you call like incident response retainers for when organizations get hacked. They call us in there in order to be the hands on the keyboards and to manage what that incident is. So when I talk about certifications, I don't know what my next certification is. I don't know what the next one is, but I know the skills that I want to learn more of is to be able to better understand the needs of my industry and to be able to package that into proposals for larger organizations so that I'm able to meet more of their cybersecurity needs and the services that we provide. So more of that. So there's some level of sales, some level of financing, project management, and project planning. So maybe a PMP is in my future.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, maybe that's in my future, but learning how to better position us to be able to compete and be able to win business for cybersecurity in my field. So, yep.
Yeah, someone actually asked. Someone said something. It's like sub at a struggle security. First topic that came in my view was the overemployment got me laughing. We'll watch it after this.
Please do. Yeah, that's a big subject, right? Overemployment, people getting 2 or 3, 4 remote type of jobs, remote tech jobs, really. So I talk about that, and I even talk about my own experience with it because I was overemployed back in December of 2022. So that was a thing, but eventually I had to go away from it. I don't want to give you any spoilers because I do want you to watch the video. We do have I also did a post. I call it like an after party live stream on it. So I went over, like other people came up. So Professor Black Ops, I think he came up. Some other people came up on the panel, and we discussed our overemployment type of experiences. And even from the overemployment website, they give all types of little tips and tricks about how to be overemployed, like how to manage multiple teams and Zooms calls. And they even had something that was pretty funny. It's called a mouse. They had a mechanical mouse jiggler right? So that they still look like they're online while they're working one job. It's just it's very interesting. It's very interesting to say the least. So yeah, man.
So Gabe, this is a random question. This is very random now. I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
So I have a Udemy course, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna make a Udemy course for
see,
cybersecurity?
This is how it started with me getting a YouTube channel. Okay. Somebody was like, "Are you gonna make a YouTube channel?" I'm like, I don't know. And so, very possibly, yes, it's very possible coming up in the future that I'll make a Udemy course. Yes, to answer it shortly.
Yeah, I'm asking because you have a YouTube channel, right? Why not make a SANS course or something like that?
Maybe in the future. I do want to get into course creation for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that definitely probably twofold reasons, right? One is that I do want to get out information out there to individuals that, again, make it bite-sized, and I have an enjoyment with teaching and being able to help people get into the field, right? From underrepresented or like underrepresented groups, but even people who are just, right, people who are not underrepresented, right? So I think that tech is for everybody. But the second one, I think that this is something that people don't talk about a whole bunch about, is that I do want to gain some level of compensation from being able to disseminate my knowledge and information to the world, right? Because, this, right, making content, making YouTube videos and everything, it does take me away from my family, right? Like I mentioned, my wife and her sister, they're out there having fun out in the sun. And I'm here, like, not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm here, like, kind of giving information about the field that I've learned. I've gained student loan debt over. So kind of like from the compensation piece, but also disseminating information about my field. Those would be two of the reasons why I start to create some classes. So
awesome, man. You should do that. Why not? Get out of your comfort zone and make a course. That
Absolutely.
would be good. I'll take it.
Yeah. For sure.
So Daniel says I subscribe. He said I subscribe. Talking about your channel. They subscribe to your channel.
Everybody. Thank you all for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I even seen it tick up as we've been on this call. So
yeah. So what? Awesome. So what? I guess what? Because I know we spoke a little bit about courses, certifications. Now we talked about food. What's your take on and this is not non-tech related. What's your take on mental health and physical health in IT? Because nobody really talks about that a lot.
Yeah, it's underrepresented or it's under discussed, right? I mean, just even having a sedentary type of occupation, like sitting in front of a computer for hours on hours, I think it's something that, like you said, not a lot of people talk about, but it's extremely important because your physical health is directly aligned with your mental or logical capabilities. So in order for you to perform well, and that was one of my arguments against overemployment, is because you're not only sitting in front of the computer for one job, but two or even more types of jobs. So I think that that's very important, getting outside, walking around, exercising, all that is extremely important to being successful at tech, right? Another one, like you mentioned, mental health. I would say, so there are many places on the internet that have conversations about tech. And I think one place that, I'm not saying it's bad altogether, but I tend to stay away from Twitter, man.
I was about to say that.
Twitter. Let me tell you, Twitter is a place that will have your mental health going up and down, even as it concerns tech. So I think that because there is almost no filter on Twitter for any type of subject. I'm not saying that it's a bad place altogether. I would say very much so tailor who you follow and what information you allow to come into your mind, because there are certain things, and I think that that's one thing that even motivated me. I would see certain things on Twitter, people saying like, oh, a Security Plus certification doesn't mean anything. Or like I've heard even people on YouTube say like, oh, CompTIA certifications are for losers, and at least that they're for people who are underachievers, right? Now, for me, who I've been in the field, I've been successful for years, I think that it's something that I'm able to kind of just brush off my shoulder. But you think of people who are brand new, who are very much so entry level or wanting to transition into the field. they're hearing this type of information, they can become discouraged, right? It can affect their mental health and their ability to kind of have that confidence. I know one thing, not about food now, right? Basketball, right? And so I play recreational basketball. And one thing about shooting, right, having a jump shot, half of the battle is confidence. Like you have to believe that when you're shooting this ball that it's about to go in before it goes in. Because otherwise, if you're not going into your jump shot motion with some level of confidence, you're gonna be off from what you've practiced. You're gonna be shaky, and in many cases, most cases, you won't make it, right? You see how Steph Curry shoot, like Steph Curry, like speaking of the finals, right? He'll shoot the ball and he'll turn around and walk away. That's confidence, right? So for somebody who is newer to tech that are hearing discouraging things about getting in, I think that you should very much so tailor what comes in. So that's the mental health piece. Don't mean to be too long-winded about it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Someone said I can imagine studying labbing every day. It makes me question my why. And like, how do you stay motivated in IT when it comes to IT?
So as a consultant in IT, I'm motivated by solving my customers' problems, right? So one thing that we do a lot of time, and that I do a lot of time just as a consultant, I'll sit down with the customer and say, listen, I know that we're here to do this particular type of service, but what are your pain points? Like what is going on? Like what keeps you up at night? Or what are the things that you found the most difficulty with? And then we'll have a conversation about what that looks like, right? So being able to map out what the problem is and then be able to eventually move into the solution piece. So then when I hear a customer saying like, hey, that really helped us out, or wow, like I didn't know that we could do that and implement that'll solve the problem that I've been having for years and years. That's something that really motivates me, is solving problems of individuals that have them, right? So that's one thing that's a big motivator for me.
Someone asked on LinkedIn, Megan, actually, I've been working in Helpdesk for 4 years, and I started studying security. Plus, I would love to work cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Listen, I think you're on the right path. Let me give you just a very short.
Helpdesk.
That's IT. It's not food. It's not basketball. It's not Drake. All right. So one time I was on a penetration test, and it was so crazy because just like you mentioned, knowing those fundamentals is so important. So I'm utilizing all the tools. To make a long story short, I'm utilizing all the tools, and I literally pretty much get domain admin access, right? So I go from probably the lowest level credential person in Active Directory to a domain admin. And that would come to the point where I need to be able to propagate into a different environment. So I need to start to do account creation that gives me certain privileges to be able to do more, right, in a different subnet of that same domain. Hopefully that makes sense. I know you know what it means, but hopefully that makes sense to those listening. I didn't know how to create a new user and give them certain privileges.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I hacked all the way to the highest level credential person in the network, in the domain, but I forgot. I didn't know how to create a new user. So I think going the help desk route, then going to security is the way to do it, because you'll know how to do that before you get to the point in which I was at.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that I could give you somebody, Meg. I could give you someone that worked help desk and now works IT security. Mm-hmm. She went to help desk. Her name is Kimberly, by the way. I'll put her name on LinkedIn chat over here.
Absolutely.
If I could find her. So talk to her. Okay. Talk to her. Yeah, so I'll put it in chat. Like I talked, she actually worked help desk, and then she pivoted over to cybersecurity. I'm gonna interview her, by the way, in my channel. And then Kalila Scott. I don't know Kalila Scott. Definitely talk to her as well, Kalila Scott. And I made a YouTube video recently, like yesterday, about her, and she transitioned over from help desk to cybersecurity. And I'm not sure if you know about women in tech or women. Let me look that up for you real quick. I'll give you another resource, because I work with a lot of different companies. We're a lot of different people. Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Women in Society Cyber Jiu-Jitsu. So go reach out to them. They're all females that want work into trying to get into cybersecurity, and you could go there and talk to them. It's absolutely free. So I'm just gonna give you a bunch of free resources. I don't like people paying for stuff. So there you go.
Absolutely. And that's one thing, right? Exhausting all of the free resources before you jump into pay to pay ones. Because if you like signing up for like Pluralsight or something, which great training platform, but you can probably limit or decrease the amount of time that you pay for that monthly subscription by learning all the stuff for free, so you can skip to the very specific things on like a website like Pluralsight that is paid. So, or CBT Nuggets or something, right? So, yep.
Yeah, I would like I have a course and it's a sell day, whatever. I would never make you pay for something unless you want to sit with me. Remember, we talked about this on Keep It Tech. Unless you want to sit with me and you want to do one-on-one training with me, that's a different story. You may have to pay for that. But I try to exhaust all the free resources I could possibly give you before I charge you. And I don't like to charge people an arm and a leg, and we don't do that. We try to give out free resources first. So that's what it is. And I made a video on cybersecurity and cyber. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cyber Mental Dojo. So you could actually get they're asking me about cybersecurity. So actually you could get a free mentor for cybersecurity, absolutely free in that platform. So, I mean, I'm gonna give you that as well. Cyber Dojo Mentor is and I'm friends with them, by the way. I'm friends with them, so I'm all over the place. So this is give you another one.
It looks like they have a Discord too that you can jump into.
Yeah, I have a Discord as well, but I will give you all the free resources. I would never charge you anything. I want to give you all the free. I try to make you succeed. That's what I try to do. So anyway, let's go back to the conversation. Sure. I don't care what anyone tells you. The foundation CompTIA A+ provided me continues to help me in my journey through ACMT, Security Plus, CCNA, AD, and present various cloud technologies. I agree with that.
Yes,
I definitely agree with that. And Femi is in the building. Shout out to Kev and Gabe.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. I haven't seen you in a really long time. I hope you're doing well. I always people talk bad about CompTIA. I never talk bad about them. I preach the living hell out of it, because how are you supposed to build a house if you don't have a foundation? The house will fall apart, right? You should know your fundamentals. Please study your fundamentals.
And that's the thing, right? Because when I was going from engineering to cybersecurity, like I said, I was thrown into the deep end where I was just expected to perform cybersecurity things, but I had to find out that, hey, I have to go back to do certain things. I had to go back and get a CCNA. I had to go back and go get a CE8 certification. I had to go back and get other, like the CCNA, the cyber ops certification, because I needed to understand these gaps that I was having. So starting off by building up that foundation is important from the beginning, so you don't have to go backwards. So
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Gabe, we gotta do this again, man. I don't want to keep you here forever. I know you're hungry. You gotta do some. You gotta go get some food, because you've been here for 2 hours of that exam and everything, and I got you here for another hour. I'm pretty sure you're probably starving to death right now.
Let me tell you, it's been a blessed and great day, because I've been able to pass the certification exam and be able to talk to all these cool people from your platform, and like I count it as a win, no matter how much time that we've been here. So I definitely appreciate you for having me on, and thank you. Yeah, thank you for allowing me on your platform, man.
Gabe, if you ever want to do a collab with me, let me know. I want to see more videos from you. That's the first thing. And the other thing is, if you guys are following me on LinkedIn, please subscribe to his channel. And I'm gonna leave it below in my YouTube channel, the description, like his YouTube channel, his LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. And if anyone has any questions about cybersecurity, are you open to messages?
I am. Jump on LinkedIn. Right. Yeah, I have my LinkedIn and my YouTube channel, but even you could post a LinkedIn in the chat. I'm not saying that I can get back to you immediately, because I'm telling you, as soon as I put that LinkedIn anywhere, it just boom, 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 it just blows up. But I'll definitely get to your message eventually, but not immediately. But yeah, DMs are open. Yeah.
Anyone that's watching this today, please like my video. I greatly appreciate it. It gives, it helps other people, and share my video as well on YouTube and on LinkedIn. And I for people that are on LinkedIn, this is strictly LinkedIn. I don't worry about the trainings. I'm gonna start doing Helpdesk training on LinkedIn, so for free. So you guys come follow me along. I'm all about helping people, so stay tuned for that. Any final words you want to say, Gabe?
None in particular, but just thank you, right? I'm seeing all of I just subbed messages in the chat and great interview. Thank you all for coming through, and I just appreciate you all. And hopefully I can provide more and more content that's very applicable to people trying to get into cybersecurity or transitioning into the field, or just brand new in general to tech. So if you have any questions, again, LinkedIn, and I also have an email address that's associated with my channel. Again, I'm trying to normalize struggling in cybersecurity because it's okay to struggle. Yep, and that's it.
Awesome, Gabe.
Yep.
Don't walk away from me, because I wanna keep you here for a couple of minutes. Take care, guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. I'll put the links below, and take care, guys.
Absolutely.
Later.
Thank you.